Hi there. Today I'm going to show you how to create your digital story using iMovie on your iPhone or your iPad or any other Apple device that has iMovie. So the first thing we want to do is we want to go into our apps and make sure that you have iMovie downloaded. If you don't, it's easy to download, it's free, and it's pretty simple. We just open up iMovie and we go to create project. But before we get there, before you start, I would highly recommend that you add all of your photos into a digital story album. So I've got a ton of albums on my phone. In my digital story album, you'll find all of the videos or photos or anything that I plan to use is already here and available. So as we switch back over to iMovie, you'll see a couple different categories. Video will show any video that's been recorded on your phone. Projects is what we're going to spend our time in. And then theater would allow you to play any of these videos once you get them complete. So back in projects, I'm going to click on create project. A word of advice before you really get into this also and start filming your narration, make sure that your computer audio is muted, that your iPhone is on airplane mode, because the first time I recorded this, I had a phone call and my computer email was going off. Okay, so we're going to hop into movie. You don't want to use a trailer because trailer is going to give you too many templates that you're kind of stuck conforming to. So this just pulls up all my moments, all the photos you've taken recently. We're going to want to go in the upper left-hand corner and click on media, where it's going to take us back, and I'm going to select albums. So you can see all the albums I have here, and I'm going to click on digital story. Now it's easiest if you have your storyboard out, which I highly recommend. Get your storyboard out and go through and select each picture based on the order that it happened. This is why we create the storyboard before we actually get into creating our movie. So select those pictures. If you mess one up, that's okay. It's easy to go back and change, but we do want to make sure that we're following as closely as possible. So now we're going to go down to the bottom and hit create movie. It says it's only a minute long. That's okay. That's easy to change. So as it's creating this movie, we'll see here in a second about changing how long each of those are on. It's a little bit hard to do until you have completely recorded your narration. So go through and make sure that all of your photos are in order. If not, this is the time to change it. This is also where you can select how long it's going to be. So simply get to whichever photo it is that you want, hold on to it long enough, and you can drag and drop from either side of it to make it long. Now the question is, how long does each photo stay up? Well, that's something we don't know until we actually record our narration. So what I recommend doing is that you'll go ahead and add your narration here. So over here on the left-hand side, you'll see the add a button. What we want to do is add a voiceover. Now it's going to record us as soon as we hit record. So now we've recorded our entire message. You'll want to make sure that you started at the bottom. And this is going to be you reading your digital story script, slow, with natural pauses. Those images that are in there now does give us some type of ground for when does the next one come. But you'll notice even with all of my photos, it's only at an hour and 15 minutes, or sorry, a minute and 15 seconds. So we want to make sure that it is easy to understand, clear and concise, and it's easy to stretch those images to go shorter or longer depending on what we need. So once you've recorded your great digital story script, you'll hit stop. We're going to think it's great and we're going to accept it. And now I can go in here and again, I talked longer about my livestock background, or my time at Texas Tech Law School needed to be discussed further. So now you can see you've recorded your great digital story script. That will change and move, and it will have that information there. Now, right here in the middle, these little two arrows together is where you can go through and change the type of transition that you want to use here. We can have it fade or wipe, or it's going to slide. And there's tons of different things there, and I would recommend looking at that. Okay, so once we've recorded our narration, our photos match up exactly where they're supposed to according to our storyboard. We want to add our audio. So hopefully you've added the audio or the song that you want to use. You'll be able to find it on your playlist or your songs, wherever you have it saved on your in your iTunes library. Add that in there, and then play through it a couple more times. Make sure that everything sounds right. You can also adjust your audio. So if you need to cut something, if you need to, turn down the volume, as long as you have that clip selected, it's very easy to adjust that. Now, lastly, we want to make sure that we've added in our credits, right? We need to give credit to the music or the photos that we've used. So again, you'll hit this plus button on the left. Okay, so here's the trickier part when we get to the end. You may then want to have your credits show up on the last image, or if you don't want it to show up on your image, you need to make sure that you've added in a black slide or a white slide. But once you've clicked on this on an image, you'll click down at the bottom, almost right-hand corner on text, and you can change the type of text that you want to pop up. You may also want to do this on your introduction slide, so that way someone knows what your name is. I love the title slide for this. Or I can just come in here and change, Corey Clem Digital Story. Okay, so now we've got our great title that pops up. And again, if you want a black slide or a white slide for this to show up, make sure that you've included that. Okay, so now you're done. You've done your video. As soon as you hit done, it's in your projects. You can this is where you can send it, wherever you want to send it to, save it to Dropbox, save your video. Some of you may have an option, there it is, to send it to YouTube if that's what you want to do, but make sure that you save it.